Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be talking about the secret romantic relationship between Arthur Morgan and Abigail that we never got to see in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm sure you guys are wondering why I would even be considering this as a possibility. Well, not only is there evidence that points to this in-game, but also from the makers of Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, Rockstar, and the Hauser brothers. So Dan Hauser actually did an interview with the magazine and website Vulture. And he was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2 and the story mode, and he had a very interesting quote. He said this: "The acting for Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode is now complete, but as release day approaches, 5 hours of the 65-hour game are dumped. At one point, protagonist Arthur Morgan had 2 love interests, but in quotes, we decided one of them didn't work," says Dan. And whole missions were removed because they were never going to work technically or they felt superfluous. We removed a mission on a train where you had to deal with bounty hunters because it was fun at first and then it wasn't. This part of the process is always about compromise and horse trading. Everyone loses bits of the game they love. So we're going to be focusing on that part for Arthur Morgan where he was supposed to have 2 love interests. Now, we know one of them 100% is Mary Linton, and we see those missions in game. And a lot of people have been wondering who the second one is. Is it a character we don't see in game? That seems a little bit unlikely, though. Or is it a character that we do see? Now, a lot of people have speculated that this is Sadie Adler, that this is Charlotte Balfour, the widow. However, who we're going to be talking about today is Abigail Roberts, who then turns into Abigail Marston. And I'm sure you guys are going to laugh at that and say, well, wait a minute. You know, Abigail clearly is in a relationship with John. They have a child together, Jack Marston. They end up getting married together in the epilogue. But we're going to talk about some moments that suggest that Arthur and Abigail were together, if not thinking about actually getting married. So there's a mission in Chapter 2 called A Fisher of Men, where Abigail essentially asks Arthur to take Jack fishing. And this is what happens. And the reason why this mission is important is because something critical to this theory happens afterwards. So take a listen to these 2 cutscenes.
Can I ask you a favor?
Probably not.
Very funny. Would you do something with Jack? He seems kind of down. All this upheaval can't have been easy on the poor kid.
Why? Because I'm your preferred nursemaid?
Because he likes you and, well, you know his father's useless.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you are!
How you boys getting on?
Great! We caught a fish, and I made you this necklace.
Ain't that pretty? Ain't I the luckiest? Did you thank Uncle Arthur?
No need. We had a good time.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Just met some folk. I better go speak with Dutch.
Okay.
Hey, you did real fine, kid.
Thanks.
Okay, so that right there is the mission of Fisher of Men. And clearly you saw that Arthur was the first guy that she turned to trust to take her son Jack fishing. So that right there should already show you how strong of a relationship they have. However, after that mission, Arthur will write something in his journal that is pretty unique. So you can see that it's a 2-page sort of excerpt. On the left-hand side, he draws Abigail and Jack, which is a pretty cool drawing. And on the right-hand side, he talks about that experience. He said, "Took young Jack out fishing as a favor to Abigail many years ago before she fell so hard for that fool Marston. Perhaps I should have married her. I think part of me has always thought that, yet goddamn you, Mary. Jack is a good boy, a dreamer, a boy with a mama who loves him. I wonder if he will find what we seek, peace and truth away from all this nonsense and lies. If that is what we still seek, not that that's a new development, not sure I know myself anymore." Wow. So I didn't even know that this was in the game. But Arthur specifically mentions that he wishes he married Abigail. And a part of him always thinks that that was going to happen. Yet because he was still falling for Mary Linton, I guess that never really came to fruition. And of course, she fell for John Marston and obviously had Jack together. so that would kind of make things difficult. However, before the time of John Marston and them being together and before Jack being born, we actually get some proof that Abigail and Arthur definitely got together multiple times, if you can kind of read what I'm getting at here. So for this, we actually have to go back to a mission in the first Red Dead Redemption game. It's a mission called Great Men Are Not Always Wise. And in this mission, essentially Dutch is meeting like someone at the bank in Blackwater. And what actually happens is John Marston and the Pinkertons, they actually rush into the bank, but Dutch has taken a lady hostage. And he sort of goes through a monologue where he talks about Abigail and Jack. Take a listen to this right here.
Oh, it's nice to see you, John.
Hello, Dutch.
How's Abigail?
Well, I hope. Ain't seen her for a while.
'Cause you've been chasing me?
Let the woman go, Dutch.
Of course. Of course. How's your little boy?
He ain't so little now.
No, he must be what? 15? 16? Doesn't time fly?
Don't adjust. It's over, man.
Of course. Of course. I surrendered, John. You're the master now.
I've been my master since you left me to die.
We all make mistakes, John. I never claimed to be a saint, but equally, I never took you for an errand boy.
Just trying to help my family, Dutch. By making compromises we all have to. Now let her go. It's over.
You want the girl, John? You always were the romantic sort. You know, gentlemen, this man here, oh, he married a whore. Used to ride with us. We all had her. Oh, but he married her. And you know that makes him a better man than us. He's a better man. Have the girl, John.
Easy, Dutch.
She's a parting gift from me.
God damn.
Okay, so the big and important line there is we all had her, but he married her. Now, if you're not sure what Dutch is talking about there, well, we need to get some background on Abigail before she actually joined the gang. So Abigail was born in 1877, and she was actually an orphan who is said to have ridden with the members of the Vanderlyn gang after being introduced to all of them by Uncle in 1984. And the reason that she was introduced to them by Uncle was because she was actually a prostitute who often slept with all the members of the gang. So when Dutch says the lines, "we all had her," that means that all the members of the gang, like Dutch, Bill, Javier, John, and Arthur, were all likely sleeping with Abigail. So they had some sort of relationship with her. So again, that includes Arthur. So before she ended up falling in love with John Marston and getting pregnant with their son Jack, she was kind of romantically involved with Arthur too. We just don't see that because it sort of happens a couple of years before the game actually happens. Again, that would have been in 1894, about 5 or 6 years before the game started. So now we need to sort of flash forward to Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's pretty clear that Arthur doesn't have a relationship with Abigail in the main story of the campaign. However, Abigail does have a great amount of trust for Arthur, especially with her son Jack, as we clearly saw in this mission when she asked Arthur if he would take him fishing. And also, in a random camp encounter, Abigail complains that she can't afford a new set of clothes for Jack, and it actually gives Arthur the choice to give her $5, indicating that he is willing to help Abigail and Jack in any way he can. And in another camp encounter, Micah actually attempts to flirt with Abigail, but she sort of shoos him away. And Arthur can actually tell her that if Micah keeps harassing her, she can just tell him that he will deal with it, showing that he ultimately looks out for her, especially when it involves
So, Abigail, How about you and I go into town sometime?
I'm afraid Motherin' don't leave me much spare time, Mr. Bell.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you change your mind, I'd show you a real good time. Real good. And, I've always fancied fathering.
The boy has a father, Mr. Bell.
If you say so. If you say so.
Come along, Jack. Lost my appetite.
Oh. What of it, cowpoke? She ain't yours.
Come on, get it while it's hot.
Don't you have nothing better to do?
I'm just being friendly.
No, you ain't. If he keeps giving you trouble, you let me know.
Oh, I can handle that fool.
I've no doubt.
And the amount of trust that Abigail has with Arthur is insane, because in the final mission of the game, Abigail is the one that gives Arthur the key to Dutch's chest that has all the money the gang has robbed throughout the story. And that's when they sort of say their one final goodbye, which of course is incredibly emotional. And in the epilogue, things get even more emotional. Essentially, anytime Arthur is brought up in conversations, Abigail basically breaks down and starts crying, which means she really did care for Arthur, I'd say more than the other members of the gang.
Exactly. It all starts with a good woman. John Marston is the luckiest man alive. Arthur told me that a long time ago.
Finally, old man, you made me cry.
Sorry, darling. And what you doing putting ideas in her head?
Well, one of you's got to have something up there. It surely ain't gonna be you.
The idea I got now involves you and a hammer.
So will we ever see this secret romantic relationship between Arthur and Abigail come to fruition? Well, certainly not based off of the events of the campaign, but I do think it would be possible to maybe see something like that, especially if Rockstar did a single-player DLC or some sort of story expansion that took place before the events of the game. And this is something that I've been calling for a while now. I'd love to see what happened in Blackwater and even before that, all the trouble and stuff the gang gets into. I think that would be such a fun story to explore. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.